So down in the garage, just trying to catch up with a few quick jobs. Got a little job today, quite a nice little thing. Got a carbon fibre footrest for the navigator, co-driver, passenger, whatever you like to call them. Big thing is with fitting these is they're quite tricky unless you have a plan. It's basically you have the footrest with no holes in originally, so I put the holes in, but then when you put this into the car, as you can see, the problem is where do you put the lugs, like these ones, where do you put these to hold the footrest in place? Because as it is there, you can't get a welder in to weld anything in there. You can't fix it to the floor. The only way you could do it really, which is not the best way, was be drilling straight through here, through your floor pan, and put in a bolt and a spacer underneath to hold that in. Now what I've done is created this little jig here. Basically drill your holes in your carbon foot stand, get some offcuts of metal, just support it there so it's not, got 2mm flat bar here, so it's quite sturdy, doesn't bend. Mark the holes from your footstool into your steel, drill the holes through, and then you'll have a template of the hole sections for your footrest in steel. So once you've got the template ready, you can basically go around with the steel template, and you've got access to the sides, underneath, and you can start to weld it up. Now, how do you attach to the floor? I've made some lugs. Just got some flat round bar. In the end of the round bar, just welded a nut into the end. You can see, focus properly. Well, there's a nut in the end of there. Just welded in and then lynched off and cut off the bar. So that gives you now a lug. And you do that for all four. You can see that's what we have here. And then once we've got that, so position it where you need to position it. Just tack the feet in initially, just to make sure that it's in the right place. Take your template off, try and fit your footstool, your footrest, make sure it fits, and then if you're happy with the final position, you can go ahead and continue to weld the lugs up nice and secure to the floor pan. So that's the position I'm at now. Just wanted to quickly show you before I tack it all in, just to make sure that I'm going in the right direction. But I didn't really want to show you afterwards that the footstool was in and nobody really knew how it got there. So that's the plan. That's how you do it if you're trying to tackle this at home. And it's the easiest way. There's a few other ways you can play around, depends how creative you are, but I think this is the easiest way. It took me about 2 or 3 minutes just to knock this up, drill the holes. So far this thing's taken me about 40 minutes to get this far, with making the captive nuts as well. So yeah, let's tack this in and trial fit the footrest. Brilliant. So just trial fitted it, just tacked it in as I said, and then took the frame off, and then the holes for the footrest lined up exactly, obviously with the template, and the lugs underneath. So that's it. The lugs are just tacked in at the moment, but as you can see, that's it. Absolutely solid. Carbon fibre, very little flex in it. There is a little bit of flex in it, but people will be able to get in and out, and they'll keep their feet now out of the hydraulic lines which are going to be running down here, and also the electrical cables and stuff. And it just gives them something to brace against when you start cornering pretty hard. And then behind this gap up here, we're going to make a bracket for the ECU. But for now, I'm just going to take this back out, weld up the lugs properly, and then job done. That'll be done for today. Brilliant. So today I've made the bracket for the ECU. This thing's been kind of puzzling me for 3 or 4 months now. Wasn't entirely sure how I was going to tackle this. I wasn't really sure where the bracket was going to go, but now I've got the footrest in here. It's going to go on these lugs just there and there. That comes up, and it left about a 3 or 4 inch gap between the back of the footrest and the bulkhead, so I thought that was an ideal place for that. Also, we've got the hole in the bulkhead itself, which the wiring loom is going to come through on the left side, passenger side, and that's what it does on the Honda S2000 as well. I'm going to be using most of the loom out of the Honda S2000. So their ECU is actually slightly here on like the door kick panel, so just to have it here is perfect. The loom should fit. So just made basically a metal bracket, put the obligatory speed holes in there just to reinforce it up, and then I've just got 2 lugs in the middle here. You can see one here, which are basically the same as these, just captive nuts welded to the bulkhead, the chassis, and then it's screwed in. It's only got the 2. I was thinking of doing 4. I've got the 2 in there. It does allow a little bit of movement, but I kind of want that because I'm thinking about putting some rubber grommets just behind the 2 nuts there, just to offer a little bit of vibration proofing and protection. I don't want the whole thing strapped to the chassis, so every single vibration of the engine goes through the ECU. So quite happy with that. It seems to fit. It's in a good placement. So yeah, problem solved. Onwards and upwards.